The U.S. president is also not attending the COP30 Climate Summit in Brazil. Well, for more on this and Trump's latest statement on the upcoming G20 Leaders Summit in South Africa, we speak to SABC News specialist correspondent Sophie Mokoena. Sophie, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. First of all, what do you make of President Trump not attending the G20?
Well, surprising because he did indicate that he will not attend. However, he made an about 10 saying that the Vice President, J.D. Vance, will attend. Now he has announced that no official will attend the G20. So it's not surprising. I guess the other leaders were expecting that towards the summit, he is going to make another announcement because you can't predict President Trump. You just have to know what is his position on an issue and know he's not going to change his mind. At times he will be moderate and diplomatic, but the reality is when his mind is made, his mind is made. And we knew that he was not going to come, and that by extension means America might not participate. And therefore, there's nothing new. This is not going to derail the summit. The summit is going to go ahead because many other leaders have confirmed. I saw the announcement and the itinerary of the president of France, for example. He will be going to the COP30 in Brazil, and then he will be going to Mauritius and then come down to South Africa. The same with Russia. President Putin can't attend because of the ICC, but the Deputy Prime Minister of Russia will lead the delegation. That includes Sergei Lavrov, the very same leader who attended the BRICS summit when President Putin couldn't attend, and many others, including those invited countries. I will mention just on the continent, a country like Nigeria, where there was also a meeting on Monday where one of the people at DERCO and officials attended a meeting where there was a mini-summit briefing of West Africa about the coming summit, including Egypt. I'm just mentioning these two powerful economies. There are other countries that have been invited. And the other countries, Canada, even the Minister of Finance in South Africa has been invited to attend the finance ministers of the G7 countries next week. So the relationship with other countries is continuing. It's business as usual. The other countries are supporting the theme, and therefore they have even adopted communicate some of the contact groups, the task force team that includes finance ministers and the central bank governors came up with a communique for the first time after 3 years, and which speaks to there's progress. We saw the report by Professor Joseph Stiglitz on issues of addressing inequality. So the summit is going to go ahead. But if he was here, clearly the focus was going to be on America and therefore derail the summit. However, as a last point, he is also not attending. He has announced he's not going to COP30 in Brazil, the climate summit. As you know, he calls climate summit a hoax, and therefore he's not going there. It's not the first time America is doing this. The World Summit on Sustainable Development in 2002, which became later what we call COP and all of that. He never, America's president was not there. You go to the racism conference in 2001. These were two UN conferences hosted in South Africa. The leader of America was not there, but WSSD continued. Whether racism conference, all forms of tolerance, pushing back against that, continued, even though there was an attempt to derail that conference because of the issue of Israel. So
All right.
it's not the first time this is happening. The G20 clearly will go ahead.
All right, Sophie, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for that update. Sophie Mokoena is the SABC News specialist reporter, speaking to us at the back of an announcement by President Donald Trump that none of his officials will be attending the G20 summit that is due to take place in Johannesburg later on this month.